Let's start with first news. Carlos Prates has sent a huge message to Islam Makhachev following his fight last night, and the Brazilian welterweight contender is making it very clear that he has his eyes on the ERUPTS championship. After his fight, Prates was asked if he had a message for Islam. Without wasting any time, Carlos delivered a confident statement and made his intentions crystal clear. He said, "I will knock you out, bro." That is a very bold statement, especially considering the level of competition Islam has faced throughout his UFC career. Islam is widely regarded as one of the most dangerous fighters in the sport, with elite grappling, outstanding control, and constantly improving striking. However, Prates clearly believes he has the power and skills to give Islam serious problems at welterweight. Carlos continued by saying that he wants to bring the UFC welterweight championship back to Brazil. He made it clear that his goal is not simply to compete at the top of the division. He wants to become the first Brazilian welterweight champion in UFC history. That ambition makes this call-out even more interesting. Prates has built a reputation as a dangerous striker with serious knockout power, and he appears to be extremely confident in his ability to challenge the best fighters in the division. If he eventually gets the opportunity to face Islam, their styles could create a fascinating matchup. Islam brings elite wrestling, grappling, and control, while Prates would look to keep the fight standing and land his dangerous strikes. For now, Prates has officially put Islam on notice. He says he will knock him out and bring the welterweight title to Brazil. It is a huge challenge, and Prates clearly believes he has what it takes to make it happen. Move on to another news. Dana White is not happy with Garry's performance against Islam Makhachev at UFC 330, and the UFC CEO believes missed a major opportunity to pull off one of the biggest upsets of his career. Islam started the fight strongly, controlling the opening round and using his grappling to put under pressure. However, as the fight continued, showed impressive takedown defense and repeatedly managed to get back to his feet. Also had some success on the feet, landing several oblique kicks, while Islam connected with a brutal leg kick that visibly hurt him. Despite the competitive moments, Islam showed why he is the champion in the fifth round, taking down and controlling him until the final horn. The victory gave Islam a unanimous decision win and allowed him to make history by breaking Anderson Silva's record. But according to Dana White, had one major problem when it mattered most. Dana explained that he believed had a real opportunity to win the fight, especially because of his size, strength, range, and excellent takedown defense. However, Dana felt was missing that killer instinct. He pointed specifically to the fifth round, saying needed to go out there and take the fight from Islam. Dana believed had been damaging Islam's body throughout the fight, and Islam's right side and face were showing the effects of the punishment. But instead of becoming more aggressive, remained friendly with Islam. Dana admitted that seeing hug and shake hands with Islam during such an important fight drove him crazy. He felt that with the title, records, and massive opportunity on the line, needed to be much more ruthless. Even Islam appeared confused by friendliness during the fight. In the end, Islam's experience and control secured the victory, while Dana believes lack of aggression may have cost him the biggest opportunity of his career. Move on to another news. Arman is not guaranteed a title shot, even if he gets past Mauricio Rufy at UFC 331. And that has created some uncertainty around what could come next for one of the lightweight division's top contenders. Arman is scheduled to face Rufy on September 19th at UFC 331, and many fans assumed that a victory would finally put him in position to challenge for the UFC lightweight championship. After all, Arman has been competing at the highest level for years and has established himself as one of the most dangerous contenders in the division. However, according to Arman himself, the UFC has not promised him a title shot after this fight. Arman recently spoke with MMA Fighting and was asked directly whether beating Rufy would guarantee him a championship opportunity. His response made it clear that he is not taking anything for granted. Arman explained that in this sport, nothing is guaranteed. Fighters have to stay ready, continue winning, and be prepared to face whoever the UFC puts in front of them. He essentially said that if the UFC gives him another fight instead of a title shot, he will simply accept it, win again, and continue moving forward until he eventually becomes champion. That mentality shows just how determined Arman is to reach the top. Of course, the situation could change depending on what happens elsewhere in the lightweight division. Matchmaking, injuries, rankings, and the timing of other fights can all affect who gets the next championship opportunity. Arman has already spent a long time fighting elite competition, so another non-title fight would certainly be frustrating. But rather than complain about the situation, he appears prepared to keep doing what he has always done: fight and win. Now, everything comes down to UFC 331. Mauricio Rufy is a dangerous opponent with the ability to create problems for anyone, so Arman cannot afford to look beyond this matchup. A dominant victory would strengthen his argument for a title shot, even if the UFC has not officially guaranteed one. For Arman, the message is simple: nothing is guaranteed, and he knows he may have to earn his opportunity the hard way. If the UFC asks him to fight again, he says he will keep winning until there is simply no way to deny him a championship opportunity. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev was left confused by Garry's approach during their fight, with the champion suggesting that showed him a little too much respect throughout the matchup. Islam explained that he understands respecting your opponent, but he believes there is a major difference between respect outside the cage and what happens once the fight begins. According to Islam, this is supposed to be war. Fighters step into the octagon knowing that they are going to compete at the highest level, exchange dangerous strikes, and do everything possible to win. Islam admitted that he respects all of his opponents, but he felt took that respect to another level during their fight. He basically questioned why appeared so friendly and respectful instead of treating the fight like a full-on battle from the opening bell. For Islam, there is no reason to be hugging or showing excessive friendliness between rounds when two fighters are competing for such a massive victory. Once the fight starts, the goal is simple: break your opponent down and win. Islam's comments also line up with what Dana White said after the fight. Dana criticized for lacking enough killer instinct, especially in the 5th round when he needed to push harder and try to take the fight away from Islam. Showed impressive moments throughout the matchup. He defended several takedowns, returned to his feet multiple times, and found success with his striking. There were moments when it looked like he could make the fight extremely difficult for Islam. However, Islam ultimately took control when it mattered most. In the 5th round, Islam secured a crucial takedown and maintained control until the final horn, securing the unanimous decision victory. For Islam, the unusual level of friendliness from was something he simply did not understand. He knows fighters can respect each other, but once they enter the octagon, that respect has to be put aside. Islam believes that both fighters should be prepared to go to war, especially when the stakes are this high. May have shown tremendous skill and toughness, but according to Islam, he showed too much respect, and that unusual approach became one of the most talked about aspects of their fight. Move on to another news. Khamzat could be facing some huge issues surrounding his next match, with questions now being raised about the upcoming RAF event in Moscow, Russia. Khamzat is reportedly expected to square off with Tyron Woodley at the event, which is scheduled to take place at VTB Arena. However, concerns have emerged about the venue and its potential connection to entities affected by United States sanctions. According to a report from ESPN, VTB Arena's website states that the stadium complex is owned by VTB Arena LLC, which is described as a subsidiary of BM Bank. Financial disclosures reportedly indicate that BM Bank is owned by VTB Bank. The major issue is that both entities have been listed under U.S. sanctions. Those sanctions restrict Americans and American companies from conducting transactions with sanctioned entities, except in circumstances specifically permitted by the U.S. Department of the Treasury. ESPN reportedly spoke with two policy experts who expressed concerns that holding the RAF event at this particular arena could potentially create problems under U.S. sanctions. The situation has also attracted attention from politicians. According to the report, politicians from both the Democratic and Republican parties voiced concerns about RAF holding an event in Russia. That has naturally raised questions about whether the event could go ahead as planned or whether organizers might eventually need to make changes. However, RAF has responded to the concerns and insists that it is focused on operating within the law. RAF CEO Chad Bronstein reportedly told ESPN that the organization's priorities in Moscow are the same as everywhere else, focusing on the athletes, the competition, and growing wrestling internationally. He also stated that RAF is committed to operating in full compliance with all applicable laws, rules, and regulations. The organization is reportedly working with independent U.S. Sanctions Council to make sure everything remains compliant. For now, there has been no confirmed announcement that the event has been postponed or canceled. The concerns surrounding the venue are being discussed, but the situation could still develop as the event gets closer. That means Khamzat's next appearance is something worth watching closely, especially if organizers need to address the venue or any potential legal complications. Until RAF provides further information, the event remains surrounded by uncertainty, and any new developments could have a major impact on the plans for the upcoming matchup. Move on to another news. The MMA community has been calling out Islam Makhachev over alleged fence grabbing during his fight with Garry, with several fans accusing the champion of using the cage to gain an advantage. During the fourth round, Ian pointed toward the fence and appeared to tell referee Herb Dean that Islam was using his toes to grip the bottom of the cage. The position was difficult to see from certain angles, but Herb took a closer look and allowed the fight to continue without issuing a warning. However, this was not the only moment that attracted attention. Earlier in the third round, Ian managed to take Islam's back after a takedown. During the scramble, Islam appeared to use the fence while trying to get back up and turn his body, allowing him to escape the position and prevent Ian from maintaining back control. Those moments quickly spread across social media, and fans began debating whether Islam had intentionally used the cage illegally. Some members of the MMA community also criticized Herb Dean for not stopping the action or issuing a warning. One fan claimed that Islam had his toes in the fence and also accused him of landing illegal knees while Ian was down. Another fan described the alleged fence grab as egregious, saying Ian could clearly see what was happening and immediately pointed toward it while trying to get Herb's attention. Others highlighted another moment where Ian appeared to tell Herb that Islam had his foot wedged between the canvas and the fence. The controversy did not stop there. Some fans argued that these incidents were part of a larger pattern, with one social media user claiming Islam has been accused of similar tactics in several previous fights. They even shared a montage showing moments they believed demonstrated illegal cage usage. Of course, accusations from fans on social media do not automatically mean that Islam intentionally cheated, and the referee ultimately allowed the fight to continue. Fence grabbing is against the rules, but whether a particular moment deserves a warning or point deduction depends on what the referee sees and how the action affects the fight. Islam ultimately went on to win the fight, but these controversial moments have added another layer to the discussion surrounding his performance. The allegations have sparked a major debate among MMA fans, with some believing the fence incidents should have been penalized, while others believe they did not change the outcome of the fight. Move on to another news. Islam Makhachev is confused about why Carlos Prates and Michael Morales are not fighting each other, especially with both fighters considered dangerous contenders in the welterweight division. During a recent conversation, Prates explained that he is not currently interested in fighting Morales because he expects to face Islam in December. However, Prates also said he could potentially fight Morales afterward, possibly in April. Those comments caught Islam's attention, and the champion believes the situation could be much simpler. Islam suggested that Prates and Morales should simply fight each other and determine who deserves to be the #1 contender. According to Islam, he does not really care which opponent eventually gets the opportunity to fight him. He is willing to face whoever earns the position, but he believes a matchup between Prates and Morales would make perfect sense. Islam essentially said that they should fight on the same card and find out who is the best contender. At the same time, Islam admitted that he is happy to have several legitimate contenders waiting in the division. He specifically mentioned Morales and Prates as two fighters who are making his training even more intense. Seeing dangerous contenders coming toward the title motivates Islam to work even harder every day. Both fighters bring serious threats to the welterweight division. Prates has built a reputation for his devastating striking and knockout power, while Morales has shown impressive athleticism, speed, and well-rounded skills. That is exactly why Islam appears excited about the competition. Rather than avoiding dangerous opponents, Islam says these are the kinds of fighters who push him to improve and prepare harder. For now, Prates seems focused on his own plans, while Morales remains another major contender waiting for his opportunity. But Islam's comments make it clear that he would have no problem facing either fighter, and he believes a fight between Prates and Morales could be the perfect way to determine who truly deserves the next title opportunity.